Hello and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to talk about Toba Tek Singh, a short story by Saadat Hasan Manto. Manto was highly affected, highly impacted by the Indian partition, and he went to Pakistan after the partition, and he became an alcoholic. Seeing all that was going around, he became an alcoholic, and afterwards he had to be in a mental asylum to recover from that alcoholism. In that mental asylum, he gained some experiences, some situations he saw definitely, and from that experience, he gathered the idea of writing this story, which is set in a mental asylum in Lahore. And the time that this story talks about is just a couple of years after the partition took place. So, we have got the time, we have got the setting. It is Lahore Lunatic Asylum, and it is a couple of years after partition took place. Now, the beginning paragraph is a couple of years after the partition of the country, it occurred to the respective governments of India and Pakistan that inmates of lunatic asylums, like prisoners, should also be exchanged. Muslim lunatics in India should be transferred to Pakistan, and Hindu and Sikh lunatics in Pakistan asylums should be sent to India. As we know, as we have already discussed in earlier episodes, that the partition of India was based on religion, and it divided India on the basis of the religious divide created by some leaders who were the proponents of religious segregation, who believed that people of different faiths cannot be together, and etc. And some of them provoked with their statements the common people, and riots became, massacres were everywhere, and the British administration took the decision of drawing a map dividing the nation, supported by the Indian leaders, of course, and the decision was taken in a hurry. As I have already discussed all these topics in the introductory videos about partition literature, I'm not going to elaborate, but you know all these things, that it was 5 weeks time in which Sir Cyril Radcliffe was about to decide about the portions that were to go into East Pakistan or to West Pakistan. So about the drawing of the map, it was a decision in a hurry, and it was a job done in a hurry, of course. Not only that, people were not told about the exact line of division. I mean, exact line that is being drawn. They did not know. In the meantime, political leaders, our great honorable political leaders, they went on with their statements, addresses, and everything, and we, very respectable people, very intelligent, we were afraid, and we became easily provoked, and we thought that it was our faiths that needed to be protected, and in that way we became violent against each other. Riots broke out everywhere in India, and situation worsened. After that, partition took place as well as independence. Now, Toba Tek Singh is a short story which questions and satirizes some ideas. Questions like, what is the concept of home? What is the concept of homeland, or my country, my nation? What is the concept of a homeland? What is home? Why do we call it home or homeland? Next thing is, it satirizes some very popular ideas like, partition, the decision of partition, the provocation about partition was the idea of political leaders. And people took part in it actively by committing in riots and being afraid of the riots and being afraid of the situation. They followed the rumors and they went according to the rumors. They fled from here to there, from there to somewhere next. They just fled. So it was the greatest migration in the history of modern world, so far as we know, and in terms of the number of people that migrated. So Toba Tek Singh questions the role of political leaders, the role of religion, and how the country was divided, and how this dividing the nation impacted the people. It portrays that and satirizes a basic thing. We are talking here about the people of a lunatic asylum. That means they are lunatics. They are mentally unhinged. We know that. But they do not understand what is going on. Of course, lunatics they are. It is supposed to be so that they don't understand anything. But there lies the satire. They do not understand what is Pakistan, what is India, why they are being moved. They do not understand that. But we, so-called sane people who are not mad, who are not insane, we understand. We understood the situation. We fled. We committed ourselves in riots. We did such horrible things. We were dancing under the commands of our honorable political leaders who provoked us to differentiate between amongst ourselves, and we are called sane people. We did not have a problem with that. We accepted that. But these people, because they are lunatics, they do not understand anything easily, of course, but they are not understanding this situation. Now the satire is, who are the actual lunatics? The political leaders, the people who believe in faiths and committing in riots, and the people who are suffering and believing and flying from one place to another, believing that this might not be their home anymore, and etc., etc. Are these people being insane? Or the insane people who are not actually accepting the orders, who are trying to comprehend the situation, but who are unable to? Are these people insane? There is the satire. So there is a plethora of ironic statements here and there in the story. If we go to the second stanza, the second paragraph in the first paragraph, we were told that the time was a couple of years after independence and partition. He doesn't write independence. He wrote partition because it was the central concern of Manto, not the independence. Whoever took partition seriously, whoever was affected by partition, can never take independence in a very proud way. That is not possible. If you have suffered from partition, you cannot take independence in a very proud way. That is not possible. Two ideas are completely different. One symbolizes mass killings and losing your home and being uprooted from your culture, your homeland, your neighbors, your friends. That is the meaning of partition. And independence means freedom. Simple as that. It is about glory. So there are two words which have completely opposite connotations. If you look at partition, you cannot be proud of independence. If you be proud of independence, you have forgotten partition. That's it. I think the people who wrote about partition in literature or who did films on partition thought in this way. They never thought about independence too much. They always use the word partition seriously and they avoid the word independence. Because independence was like, to them, was like a kind of a bait. The actual job, the actual calamity that was brought to us was that of partition. And people who suffered it can never forget it. So anyway, let's move on to the next paragraph. In the first paragraph, we got the time and the setting, the lunatics, the lunatic asylum. He will talk about it in the third paragraph as well. But for the moment, look at the second paragraph to understand how ironic Manto is with his sentences and expressions and everything. Whether this was a reasonable or an unreasonable idea is difficult to say. One thing, however, is clear. It took many conferences of important officials from the two sides to come to the decision. So you see, very important officials, many conferences. The tone is completely ironic. They decided to divide the country. They just took the job of drawing the map and did it within 5 weeks. It was done by Cyril Radcliffe, whose only qualification was that he had no experience of India. He had never come to India before that event. That was his qualification, that because he doesn't know anything about India, he will be neutral. That was his qualification, and he divided. He was given the job to divide people by drawing the map, and he did the job. And we accepted it, our leaders accepted it, etc. Now, after 2 years, after a couple of years have gone, there are so many officials and so many important officials with important meetings, so many meetings that there are so many, so many events going on to decide whether the lunatics should be transferred on the basis of their religions or not. But they took the decision, and as we are common people, we always think, as Manto satirizes here, that because they are important officials, too many officials, and too many meetings, the decision must have been a difficult one. We don't know whether it's reasonable or unreasonable, but it must have been a difficult one. There is There is a complete, uh, pinning towards the, administration. Okay. Now, of course, he says that he doesn't know about the Indian condition, but the Hindu and the Sikh lunatics who were in the Lahore asylum were to be transferred to India. Because, of course, Pakistan has become a Muslim country. And from India, the Muslims were to be transferred to Pakistan if their families had already moved to Pakistan, because India was secular. So naturally, if a Muslim lunatic's family had not left India, then the Muslim lunatic did not have to leave India. But in case of Pakistan, most of the Sikhs and Hindus, of course, had left Pakistan, came to India. So all of the Hindus and Sikhs from the lunatic asylum were to be transferred to India. That decision was taken. Now what happens? What kind of impact it has on that lunatic asylum and its members? Let us take a look. The first question he presents before us is that a Sikh lunatic talking to another, a Muslim lunatic, first of all, he has a kind of idea that the name of a place in India where cutthroat razors are manufactured. When he was asked, a Muslim lunatic was asked that what is Pakistan? Or where is Pakistan? Where is this place? They don't know about anything. Common people didn't know. Common people, suppose I am standing at point A, independence has come. But the time was as such that I am at point A, I do not know where this point A belongs to. Does it belong to India or does it belong to Pakistan? The situation was thus. It was afterwards, long afterwards, that people got the map, the exact places, then you had radios. You might have heard about the big cities, that this city now belongs to India, this city now belongs to Pakistan, but you don't know about your village. You don't know about the line. Where has it gone through? What part of your village belongs where? You don't know. You don't know if your village has been divided. You don't even know that. So everyone was dependent on rumors. And these people are lunatics. They don't have news there all the time and they don't understand very well. They are lunatics. So one person asked another. The person who was being asked was a Muslim. He was asked that, where is this place Pakistan? And he answered the name of a place in India where cutthroat razors are manufactured. He had no idea whatsoever about Pakistan. He just imagined. Okay. According to his imagination, so there is this phrase, cutthroat razors. Actually, the whole place, the whole area was called India. Now Pakistan emerged out of it, right? And the process of this partition was provoked by cutthroat razors, riots, massacres, So, how does India get divided? How does Pakistan get born? Simple question. Same question in different ways. By, massacres. By the process of massacres amongst people. And that's why there is this symbol, there is this phrase, symbolic meaning is there, that cutthroat razors are manufactured. It is not a place where cutthroat razors are being manufactured. It is the idea of dividing a nation that manufactured razors and cut people's throats. Okay. Next idea that comes, a Sikh lunatic asked another Sikh, Sardarji, why are we being sent to India? We don't even know the language they speak in that country. Another valid point. India, I am now talking about the whole Indian subcontinent that is today. But I am calling it India because India before partition. Okay. Please do not take it otherwise. Okay. India is a vast land and there is a diversity of culture. Many cultures, too many cultures are there and too many languages are there. If you move from one district to another, the dialect changes. Even within the same language, the dialect changes. And there are lakhs and crores of people talking in that dialect. Okay. If you just cross one state, the language changes. Sometimes within a state, there are different languages. Of course, if even in the state of Bengali is not the only language. I am talking about West Bengal. Bengali is not the language, the only language. Here, Santali is there, Nepali is there. Perhaps there are other languages which I don't know about. Perhaps there are, Urdu and of course other languages. So, within a state, there are different languages. If you are comfortable in your village because you can talk to others in your language. Now, if you have to move like 500 kilometers or 200 kilometers, the language may change. I am taking 200, 500 as a figure because Hindi, the language Hindi has a large portion of this country. There are major languages which occupy the large portions of this country, and for this reason you may have to move 200 or 300 kilometers to reach another language, perhaps. But sometimes it takes only 50 kilometers to change a language. Now, if you are a lunatic and you are told that you are to be moved to India, you don't know what is India, you don't know what is Pakistan, you are a lunatic, you have forgotten everything and news doesn't come to you, and you only know your asylum, your inmates and everything. You are there, you are habituated with this place, and if you can remember, then you only remember your neighborhood, your friends and your language, your culture, your family, your village. Now, if you are told that you are being transferred somewhere, that somewhere doesn't matter, somewhere, you know this land, that there are so many cultures, so many languages, so many, you know that if I have to move somewhere, there may be people who talk in a different language I won't understand, and then how would I communicate with those people? How would I talk to those people? That is a very valid, very, very solid and valid question. Why does Manto write it here? This is not just a question. India was divided on the basis of religion, and that is a point to be criticized, because if you are to divide a nation, divide it by culture, by language. But no, you are not dividing on the basis of a language. There is no logic in it. You are dividing on the basis of religion in a country where people of different religious faiths, beliefs, they are scattered everywhere. So perhaps, this person is a Sikh. This person is living in Pakistan, in Lahore. Perhaps he knows Urdu better than any Indian language, suppose Hindi or something like that. Perhaps that is possibility. That is a possibility. Now, if today I were to be transferred to another state on the basis of religion, suppose on the basis of religion, just 200 kilometers apart from my own place, the language changes, would I be able to communicate with them just because the religion or some kind of parameter is similar? If the language differs, if the people cannot communicate, then how could someone feel that he is at his home? First question. Now, here comes some other questions, of course. One day, a Muslim lunatic, while taking his bath, raised the slogan Pakistan Zindabad with such enthusiasm that he lost his balance and was later found lying on the floor unconscious. As I have told, this short story is very satiric, very satiric. Sharp satire is used here. You see, a Muslim lunatic, a Muslim hurling or crying Pakistan Zindabad, natural process. But a Muslim lunatic is crying here Pakistan Zindabad. What do you get from this? This is a lunatic. He doesn't understand about Zindabad Murdabad. He doesn't understand about Pakistan or India. He has heard the slogan. He has got some, he has become a bit enthusiastic about the slogan. Slogans are made because leaders want to make common people energized with to follow their ideas. Simple as that. Why are slogans there? To make people follow it. So naturally, here, this is a lunatic. He is just, raising the slogan Pakistan Zindabad. He doesn't understand the meaning of the word. He is just raising the slogan because he has heard others doing so. Some people are he has got the idea from somewhere else. What does this symbolize? This symbolizes that, common people, whenever they said Omuk Jindabad, Tomuk Jindabad, did they actually understand the meaning of this? That whenever I am, raising a slogan, I am taking part in dividing the country. A slogan like that, Pakistan or India, because I am afraid, that my faith is going to lose its rights, my beliefs are not going to be protected, etc., etc. So I am just taking a slogan. But Is this meaningful? Does all the people that raise a slogan think about it? No. And that's why they raise the slogan and they fall upon the result of that slogan. So, it doesn't matter Pakistan Zindabad or India Zindabad or Hindu or Muslim. You are taking part in the segregation process. And then the segregation happens and then it affects you, your life. You have to be uprooted from your homeland. You have to suffer so much. But when you took the slogan, did you think about it? No. The lunatic doesn't think about it. He is enthusiastic about the slogan and he falls upon the floor. This is a ridiculous image. This is quite, humorous and etc. But this actually ridicules the common man's habit of following slogans. Any slogan that is given without thinking about it. Not all inmates were mad. Some were perfectly normal except that they were murderers. To spare them the hangman's noose, their families had managed to get them committed after bribing officials down the line. So all the inmates in this lunatic asylum are not mad. That is not the actual concern here. The concern is they are criminals, they are murderers, but actually the officials were bribed. You have to think about it. The officials were bribed. That means the officials of independent country, of an independent country that was independent, that became independent just 2 years ago, were taking bribes. Corruption was there from the very beginning. Although we talk about morals, high values, constitution, many isms are there, but corruption is at the core from the beginning or from before the beginning. Okay, so that is another point. That yes, you have made Pakistan. It has a meaning, a kind of, I don't know, but it has a meaning which perhaps says a holy land for Muslims or something like that, near about that. It is going to be a very holy land or a kind of a, peaceful place perhaps. A kind of ideal place perhaps. Whatever. I don't know what exactly the word means. You have to Google it perhaps. Pakistan. The word means either ideal or holy or a graceful, peaceful land. The main thing is that it is a very positive idea. People of a particular faith, Muslims, they were given a very positive idea that this is going to be your ideal land. This is going to be a perfect land for you, for this faith, for the people of this faith. But Manto is pointing towards corruption from the very beginning. This is not going to be an ideal land. This is not going to be a holy land. Corruption is here. It is present. Whatever we talk about independence, whatever we talk about a glorified country and everything, that is neglecting reality. That is not looking at reality or knowing reality and denying it. Hypocrisy. If I can see that there is a negative thing, a kind of a bad thing happening in my country, and if I don't look at it or know it but don't, talk about it in the name of glory, in the name of pride, in the name of whatever the hell, do I love my, this country Honestly, that's a question. I have to talk about where it can improvise or where it should improvise, where the dark holes are. But there is always a problem to talk about truth, So, Manto is pointing towards it in passive voice. But these so-called madmen, they were actually murderers. They were not, unhinged in the head. But they, according to us, they should have understood what the newspapers said. They should have understood what was going on. But they did not. They had no clue. They probably had a vague idea why India was being divided and what Pakistan was. Perhaps they had a vague idea about the division. But as for the present situation, they were equally clueless. That means, why are we being transferred? Where are we being transferred to? And where are we actually? Where is India? Where is Pakistan? They do not know about the map. They do not know about the actual places in India or in Pakistan. So, from the newspapers, they gathered the names of the big leaders like that of Muhammad Ali Jinnah, who created a great land for the Muslims to be safe and etc. They have got the name. But they do not have any idea what was going on actually on the actual land that they were. They had no idea where it belonged to, India or Pakistan. So, as to where Pakistan was located, the inmates knew nothing. That was why both the mad and the partially mad were unable to decide whether they were now in India or in Pakistan. If they were in India, where on earth was Pakistan? Now, this is again, this thing is looking humorous, looking puzzling, that they don't understand what is India, what is Pakistan. But actually, Manto is satirizing us. The insane people are insane because they do not understand, but they are not understanding what we understood so easily. We took it for granted. We thought we understood. Of course, we did not know the actual things, but we fled according to the rumors. We followed the rumors. We thought that we were understanding those rumors. Right? We were acting insane without being insane. So, they are confused. If they were in India, where on earth was Pakistan? Because they were in India because when they had got into the asylum, India was not independent. Pakistan was not created. So naturally, they got inside the asylum being an Indian. Today, it is being told that they are to be moved to India. Now, they do not understand the concept. I was in India. I am here. But this is not India anymore. They are lunatics, remember. So, if they were in India, where on earth was Pakistan? And if they were in Pakistan, then how come that until only the other day it was India? If it is Pakistan, then yesterday it was India. How is this possible? Lunatics don't understand this concept because they are lunatics. And we understand it so easily because we are so intelligent. You see, the satire is there. One inmate. Now the pathetic thing comes. Manto's story. This is Manto's masterpiece, as I perhaps have told you already. This particular story is filled with satiric, ironic statements, as well as this is very, very emotional and pathetic at the core. One pathetic paragraph comes here. One inmate had got so badly caught up in this India, Pakistan, India rigmarole that one day, while sweeping the floor, he dropped everything, climbed the nearest tree, and installed himself on a branch, from which vantage point he spoke for 2 hours on the delicate problem of India and Pakistan. The guards asked him to get down. Instead, he went a branch higher, and when threatened with punishment, declared, I wish to live neither in India nor in Pakistan. I wish to live in this tree. We can laugh about it. We can laugh about it. But you see, the people who suffered in those situations, these are about lunatics. Normal people who suffered the situation of partition, of riots, of migration. When the suffering began, after some time they realized and they felt like this. I don't want India, I don't want Pakistan, I don't want anything, I just want to live in peace. But you can't. The process has started. The process has started and you can't go back. If the people of India, I mean the whole place, had not listened to its leaders and stayed with their farming, their land, their families and friends, and hadn't cared a bit about the political leaders, whoever they were, political leaders, religious leaders, the migration wouldn't have happened. Even if they had divided the nation, the migration and the riots wouldn't have happened. I, as a common man, I think about common man's common sense. Today, after independence, after 75 years of independence, what have we learned from our country? Never take a politician's statement seriously. Yes, seriously. He can do things, he has power, but do not take his provocations seriously, do not take his promises seriously, do not take his drama seriously. That's what we have learned, if we have learned anything. But common people, majority of the people, have they learned anything? No. That's why political clashes are there after every vote. That's why even today religious clashes, political clashes, all kinds of clashes are there. Because common people, they get easily provoked. A leader tells them something, some kind of a leader, and they get provoked. Easily. They don't think that I am here, I am living on this land for 30 years, 40 years, 50 years. These are the people I know. They know me. These are the 5 people around me. Now, from that 5 people, everyone has 5 people around them. If everyone trusted everyone, that no, we are going to live as we were. Whatever name the country has got or gets, I don't care. I am living here. I am not going to cut my roots. I am not going to make others cut their roots. No. Human beings are not so simple. They are so naive in front and so violent at heart that they can do anything, they just need one excuse. As I have told while explaining in the previous video, the short story Cold Meat. And I will explain it again in the next video when I make my next video on Gulzar's Toba Tek Singh, which depends on this particular short story, which has a particular connection with this one. So what happens is that after people became violent, people were violent, sometimes every now and then, small incidents, etc., limited incidents, but people became violent. Exactly, it started in Calcutta. That is another shame of us. In Calcutta. It started in Calcutta in 1946. Okay, August 1946. It continued for 1 year, spread throughout the nation, especially on the eastern wing and the western wing. Bengal and Punjab suffered the most. And these are the two states that got divided. And our cultures got divided. Our language, today we are not just Bengalis. We are, Indian Bengalis, Bangladeshi Bengalis. Today we have to remember that where Rabindranath was born belongs to India. Where Madhusudan was born belongs to Bangladesh. They are the base of our culture, our literature. See what has made partition to us. So, once the process starts, then you understand the pathetic situation, and then you wish that there was no India, no Pakistan. There was a peaceful tree. I would live in this tree. I don't want this turmoil. This is not a statement of just a lunatic. This is actually the statement of the people who suffered. So, when he was finally persuaded to come down, he began embracing his Sikh and Hindu friends, tears running down his cheeks, fully convinced that they were about to leave him and go to India. So this man was Muslim. And that's why he was embracing his Hindu and Sikh inmates, his Hindu and Sikh friends there. You see, the point of friendship comes. Friendship is getting decimated by the idea of nationalism, by the idea of religious faith, by the idea of true homeland, etc. Friendship was less important than these big ideas. Now, another point, a Muslim radio engineer who had an MSc degree, never mixed with anyone, given as he was taking long walks by himself all day, was so affected by the current debate that one day he took off all his clothes, gave the bundle to one of the attendants, and ran into the garden stark naked. This is again, we take it as a humorous paragraph, but this is not humorous. It is again symbolic. A person who was once a radio engineer, who had MSc degree, that means he had some brain, some kind of intelligence, some kind of qualification. He was not a completely illiterate and, naive man. No, he had some quality. But he is now a lunatic. Something has happened to him. And this lunatic is disturbed by these debates. He never disturbed anyone. He was a peaceful lunatic there. Peaceful. never disturbed anyone, never talked to anyone, kept himself to himself. But after hearing for long these debates, his mind got troubled and he started running naked. This is not a lunatic running naked. This is our, we talk so much about humanity, but we became so inhuman at that time. I am again and again calling we, because 75 years ago, before independence, we called all of us, we called ourselves we. Now we are calling each other names as if we were, enemies from centuries, enemies by centuries or whatever. No. If yesterday you were an Indian, today how can I be so insulting towards you, saying that you are not an Indian? No. Today you can be a Pakistani, today you can be a Bangladeshi. Your culture, my culture, our culture, there are different cultures in the whole world. There may be differences, of course, but just because the relationship took a kind of a turmoil, today I am always, I just cannot always tell that they are bad, I am good. How can that be? Yesterday we fought together for independence. Right? That is the concept. That is the very basic concept in partition literature. That yesterday we were one, we fought together. Today we are fighting against each other. We are insulting each other. We are talking derogatory, we are commenting derogatorily about each other. If we were different from the beginning, then how did we become one to fight for independence? If we did fight for independence as one, then how can we have become so different today? And how come that we have suffered so much, every one of us, Pakistanis, Indians, Bangladeshis, everyone? How come we have suffered so much because of partition if we were if we were so different? If we were different, then we wouldn't have suffered because of partition. We just acknowledged it. Yes, we were very different. Now we are recognized as different. No, we had to suffer. There were so much of bloodshed. There were so tremendous effects of partition, migration, everything. We were uprooted. We cursed partition. That means partition was not a natural thing for us, to us. It was not a natural thing for us. It was not a natural thing to us. That's why we suffered. Anyway, now our nakedness, that we believe too much in faith, we believe too much in political leadership, that we were fighting against each other and we divided the nation. So our naked truth has come out. If that is the naked truth, here this is portrayed symbolically, that this person is so disturbed, He's a lunatic. He is so disturbed by this debate, India, Pakistan, Pakistan, India, that he gets naked. A Muslim lunatic, again, he starts to pretend that my name is Muhammad Ali. I am actually Muhammad Ali Jinnah. I am the Qaid-e-Azam. Okay. Again, another Sikh lunatic. He counteracts. He says that then I am Master Tara Singh. Actually, they do not know anything about these leaders. They have got the idea that these are some names of some influential people, and these names matter a lot. I don't know why they matter a lot, but I have got to know that they matter a lot. So these names are, running around me. I am hearing a lot about these names. Every now and then I am reading about them in the newspaper, listening about them in the radio. So on the radio, so naturally a bit disturbed in the head, I get the idea that I am this person, because nobody knows who the person is. Everyone is talking about that. Suddenly, if I say that I am Muhammad Ali Jinnah, then another person says I am Master Tara Singh. And the guards, they take these two people away from each other and take them to lock them up in different cells. Again, symbolic. Can we or could we have separated the separatist leaders in different cells? Could we have locked them up and said that whatever you are, it doesn't matter. Do not segregate us. Stay there in a cell peacefully, so that communal riots do not get started. Here the guards are taking these two people away because otherwise communal disturbance could have started. They were afraid of that. But the actual administration, the actual, people before independence, and the administration, the law, if they had locked these leaders, perhaps the communal riots wouldn't break out. But Manto is not talking about it directly. He is telling us symbolically that these people, it is easy to take the lunatics inside a cell, but when you are a political leader and you are provoking riots, you are not taken to any cell. That's the power of a political leader. And that's the stupidity of people, of course, that they, listen and follow these commands or these provocative statements. Now, again, another pathetic paragraph here. There was a young Hindu lawyer from Lahore who had gone off his head after an unhappy love affair. Okay, unhappy love affair, but that doesn't mean that it isn't a love affair. Love is love. Sometimes it ends happily, sometimes it doesn't. That doesn't mean that it isn't love. If it is true love, then it remains in your heart as it is. When told that Amritsar was to become a part of India, he went into a depression because his beloved lived in Amritsar, something he had not forgotten even in his madness. That day, he abused every major and minor Hindu and Muslim leader who had cut India into two, turning his beloved into an Indian and him into a Pakistani. That is the first part of his being angry. So now his beloved is an Indian and he is a Pakistani. He cannot accept this. That yes, it was an unhappy love. Yes, I have lost my mind. but I still remember her. She lives in Amritsar, and Amritsar is now a part of India, whereas a part of, I am in Lahore, so I am a part of Pakistan. So I am a Pakistani, she is an Indian. There is a barrier in between us. Maybe it is an unhappy love, maybe it was never to succeed, fine. But who has given them the right to build a barbed fence in between lovers? Question is asked. This kind of nationalism, this kind of, religious segregation creates walls between people. And if walls are created, then we'll all suffer in different ways. Some suffers because of love, some suffers because he loses his friend or his family, his homeland, his culture, his language. And again, when he is told, this lawyer, of course, he is a lunatic, but he was a lawyer, he is told that, yes, you are a Hindu, and it has been declared after 2 years that Hindu lunatics are to go to India. So now you can go to Amritsar, you are going to India, you are now an Indian, you should rejoice. This man says, no, my practice as a lawyer won't flourish in Amritsar. So I need Lahore for my finance. I need Amritsar as my beloved lives there. Who has the right to make a wall in between the two needs of a man? That's the question. Today, if Amritsar is my land, then Lahore is not mine. If Lahore is my homeland because I work here, then my beloved is from a different nation. There is a wall between us all the time, between my work and my love. Question. Is this wall, is this, divider ethically correct? Is it ethically correct to build such a divider, build such a wall? That's the question here. Now, there were two Anglo-Indian lunatics in the European ward. When told that the British had decided to go home after granting independence to India, they went into a state of deep shock and were seen conferring with each other in whispers the entire afternoon. They were worried about their changed status after independence. Would there be a European ward, or would it be abolished? Would breakfast continue to be served, or would they have to subsist on bloody Indian chapati? This is not only about lunatics, as I have already mentioned for many times. These situations are what actually happened to real people. Suppose your lover lives somewhere and you work somewhere, and the place of work and the place of your lover, there is a wall in between. Suddenly there comes a wall in between. You can't go here and there. You are being uprooted either from one place. You have to take one, you have to choose one. That is a peculiar situation that happened to people. Even today, there are people who have families and relations across the borders They have their, age old homes or lands, which are now not theirs, of someone else, but that thing, that root is still there. Some people, their, in-laws home and their home are in different you know different countries, I mean, on the other side of the border. One day you wake up and you see that your home and your in-laws home now belong to different nations. What would you do? How would you feel? That if this is my place and if they are my relatives, there is a sudden wall that requires a passport. And sometimes that is not even possible. It makes a distance more. So naturally, there are Anglo-Indians. There are, Anglo-Indians who were there, not only lunatics, I mean Anglo-Indians all throughout the country. And they were confused that Hindus and Muslims are rioting, there is a divide, and now there are different nations, independence is coming. When independence comes, what will be our status? Because we are white or somewhat Anglo-Indians, that means half white, not fully, that kind of, they were afraid of the situation. They were afraid of, how Indians would behave to them. Not always that they were afraid of that, they were also afraid of being uprooted of their own choices. And here, a particular choice is marked. That is the choice of food. Even today, I regret to say that this is a topic, this is a concern, even in independent nation, that food choices are questioned. Okay. So, anyway, there was another inmate. Now, the situation, Manto has created the situation, different characters, minor characters, and the satire was multifaceted. Now, he comes to one character, who is the protagonist of this short story. He comes to a character whose original name is Bishan Singh, but he doesn't remember his name. He was a landlord in a village called Toba Tek Singh. So, everyone calls him Toba Tek Singh because he, number one thing, he never sleeps. He never, falls asleep on the ground. He stands upright all the time, 24 hours a day. Number one thing. Number two, he doesn't talk to anybody. He doesn't recognize anybody. He was a landlord. He doesn't talk about anything except one particular gibberish. But when this debate started, he came up with one question. Where is Toba Tek Singh? In India or in Pakistan? Now, this man forgot his family, forgot his friends, as we will find out in some paragraph afterwards when Fazaldin comes. He has forgotten everything. But one thing he has not forgotten, surprisingly, the name of his village, where he was bred and brought up, where he was a landlord. Actually, that is the concept of our home, that we remember it, it stands close to our heart, and we always, even if we are living abroad or somewhere, someplace else, we always think about our homeland, our particular home and its neighborhood, and the imagery of mornings, evenings, the memories related to childhood, everything. So it is a very sensitive topic for every man. Bishan Singh has forgotten everything but has not forgotten the name of his village, that is Toba Tek Singh. So he just utters one gibberish every now and that is Upar di gudgur di anaksh di be dhyana di mongdi dal di lalte. Sometimes, he just, changes one or two words. But this sentence has no meaning. Why this sentence is important? Why this nonsense or gibberish is important, I will tell you later. Suddenly, there is, this man, we shall call him Toba Tek Singh from now on, because the story's title is Toba Tek Singh and everybody calls him Toba Tek Singh because he asks so much about where is Toba Tek Singh, where is Toba Tek Singh, that is his question. So he began inquiring about where Toba Tek Singh was to go. However, nobody was quite sure whether it was in India or in Pakistan. Those who had tried to solve this mystery had become utterly confused when told that Sialkot, which used to be in India, was now in Pakistan. Now Manto's satire is again coming. You see, it was anybody's guess what was going to happen to Lahore, which was currently in Pakistan but could slide into India any moment. As if it is a monkey. You see, there is the pathos underlying the humor. And that becomes the satiric attack on the situation created by political and religious leaders, separatists. It was also possible that the entire subcontinent of India might become Pakistan, and who could say if both India and Pakistan might not entirely vanish from the map of the world one day? Again he questions, what is India? What is Pakistan? You are on earth. That is just a political map. You have given it a name. Literature or art doesn't care about the political boundary. Why? Because of this. It doesn't matter what is called India, what is called Pakistan, what is called Bangladesh. It doesn't matter. What matters is human beings and their conditions. And that's why today Pakistan is created. Today India is something what it was not yesterday. So who can say that tomorrow there will be no Pakistan, no India? but humans will be there. And it only counts, the names, India, Pakistan, whatever, it only counts as long as humans are there and humans are caring about it. If humans are not present, if humans, the human condition is, pathetic, then it doesn't matter. The name doesn't matter, the country doesn't matter, the nation doesn't matter, the constitution doesn't matter, nothing matters. Everything matters depending on the human condition. Now, human condition comes first. You see, what is a nation? What is the concept of my country, my homeland, where I can feel safe, where I can feel to be at peace, where I can feel that I am cared for. That is my homeland. This is not my saying, this was said by Rabindranath Tagore in his nationalism. Today we are seeing nationalism, nationalism, nationalism. And today some people are praising Rabindranath without reading him, without understanding him, just to get some, whatever. So, Rabindranath said that one cannot feel that it is my country unless one feels that, yes, I am safe here, I am at peace here. I feel that my home calls me. I feel that my home cares for me and I care for my home. There is a bond. If that bond naturally comes, then it is his land, and wherever that bond comes, that is his land. It doesn't matter where he is actually. The bond matters. And this bond cannot be created by force. This bond is created with values, morals, cultures, memories, childhood, emotions, everything. This bond is naturally created. This bond cannot be forced upon you or anyone. If someone says that you have to love this place, love flies away. That's natural. If someone doesn't say that, but you are there at peace, safely, you don't think about loving it, but the bond is created. Day after day, for a long time, the bond is created. Once you have to go to somewhere else, you feel a calling back to your home. Inside your head, there is always a sense that that is my home. I have to go back there. My home is calling me. Then the love comes naturally. If you are made to feel unsafe in a place, how can you feel that it is your homeland, it is your home? This is the central concern of this story. You see, he used to have visitors, this Bishan Singh or Toba Tek Singh. Toba Tek Singh used to have visitors once a month. His daughter used to come, but after partition, they have stopped coming naturally because, the whole country was in turmoil. Naturally, he didn't know what happened to them, and he forgot his daughter's face. According to calculation, as Manto has written, that his daughter must have been now 15. Now this particular daughter and her age and everything, all this thing will be important when you read Gulzar's Toba Tek Singh. Okay, so read it carefully. All this information will be relevant to that, to understand that poem. Anyway, he says that Toba Tek Singh, when the time of the month, when the visitors used to come, At that particular day, Toba Tek Singh used to freshen up a bit, bathe and freshen up a bit, and then he used to go with a guard, of course, to meet the visitor. He had a sixth sense about it that someone is going to come. That day has come when someone is going to come from my home to visit me. But after partition, no one is coming for a long time. And Toba Tek Singh has also forgot about them. He has lost his sixth sense about remembering or counting the day of the month. He did not recognize his daughter, but he used to, count the days. That is the bond inside. Now, for a long time, nobody has come, and he has been losing his sixth sense, and he is now very disturbed. He is always thinking about his village, where does it belong to now, etc., etc. Now, one day, a person, an inmate, a lunatic, calls himself God, that I am God. Toba Tek Singh goes to him and says that if you are God, then you know everything, and everything happened according to your decision. So naturally, tell me, where is Toba Tek Singh? This lunatic is a clever fellow. He ridicules Toba Tek Singh by saying that neither in India nor in Pakistan, because so far we have issued no orders in this respect. He is avoiding the question, and he is, teasing Toba Tek Singh in his own way. But there is a satire. If there is God, and if that God is omnipotent, omniscient, and if everything goes according to his or her wishes, then that idea of God is questioned here. Because here even God cannot answer. Because God is being, represented by a lunatic here. A lunatic takes the part of God. He behaves, he acts like he is God. And among ourselves we find there are people who act in similar way. And they tell us to do everything because they know everything. They are wise men, and we follow them. We follow faith. We follow God. We think so much about God and godly things that this kind of things happen. Riots happen. Segregation happens. Every damn thing happens. Because we are so, faithful towards some kind of idea that we have never seen, never felt. And naturally, Toba Tek Singh is enraged. He says that he actually utters a gibberish, but Manto afterwards says that what he wanted to say was, you don't answer my prayers because you are a Muslim God. Had you been a Sikh God, you would have been more of a sport. So, yes, now I understand why you haven't decided on my village, Toba Tek Singh, and you are not answering to my prayers. I am telling for so many times to you that please take a decision about Toba Tek Singh, where it will go, and you are delaying that, and you are not deciding about it. Because you are a Muslim God, hatred comes. This sentence symbolizes the hatred, that their God is less than our God. Our God is greater than their God. You see? So, naturally, what happens is that, this kind of stupidity goes all around. This is about insane people, but actually, sane people are more crazy about these things, as you know. So, naturally, there, his question is not answered. Toba Tek Singh, where it belongs, his question is not answered. His friend comes one day, Fazaldin. He cannot recognize him. He has lost all his memory. He cannot recognize Fazaldin. Fazaldin, a Muslim friend of Bishan Singh, a Sikh. Now, Fazaldin placed his hand on his friend's shoulder and said, I have been meaning to come for some time to bring you news. All your family is well and has gone to India safely. I did what I could to help. Your daughter, Roop Kaur, he hesitated. She is safe too in India. That hesitation is very important. Either he doesn't know, or he is not too sure about it, or he has already got some news, bad news about her. That's why there is a hesitation. These are the small articulations with which an author presents, many ideas, that there are many possibilities which can take place here. You fill it up according to your guesses that what could have happened. There are various possibilities, so the author is not limiting that yes, she has safely reached India, or no, she has not reached India, something has happened to her, or I don't know about your daughter or what has happened to your daughter. There is no continuous sentence, confident sentence. There is a kind of, hesitation that makes us guess about what could have happened or what, might have taken place. So, Bishan Singh doesn't remember his daughter. He is quiet. Bishan Singh kept quiet. Fazaldin continued. Now this is a very, very pathetic paragraph. Your family wanted me to make sure you are well. Soon you will be moving to India. What can I say except that you should remember me to Bhai Balbir Singh, Bhai Badhawa Singh and Bahen Amrit Kaur. Tell Bhai Balbir Singh that Fazaldin is well by the grace of God. The 2 brown buffaloes he left behind are well too. Both of them gave birth to calves, but unfortunately, one of them died after 6 days. Say I think of them often, and to write to me if there is anything I can do. See? A common man's life, neighborhood, friendship, everything is broken by the decision of the great administrators of a country. A neighbor is separated from his neighbor. A Muslim, Fazaldin, had a friend, a Sikh, Bishan Singh, and he is talking to this Bishan Singh who has lost all his memory. He knows that Bishan Singh cannot convey the message. Then why is he talking to him? Because emotions are coming out. He wants to talk to his family. He wants to talk to his own neighbors, friends. But they are not here, they are in India. So his emotions are gushing out in front of this man who has lost all his memory, who cannot convey the words. He is talking about all the members of the family. He is trying to convey greetings to them. He is taking the names as Bhai Balbir Singh, Bhai Badhawa Singh, Behen Amrit Kaur. That is the relation between man and, man and man. It doesn't matter whose name is Fazaldeen or whose name is Bishan Singh. That is the actual relationship between them. But they are segregated. They are being segregated because of their religions. And he is talking about brown buffaloes. The little things common people live by, their livelihood. That these are the things that matter to them. These are the things. Bhai Balbir Singh, Bahen Amrit Kaur, the friendship, the family relationships, greetings, everyday talks, memories together, and the buffaloes, goats, cows, the daily chores. These are the things that matter to people. But religion became so important that all these things were eclipsed. So, here I brought you a nice treat from home. He gives him a gift. Then Toba Tek Singh asks, Bishan Singh asks, where is Toba Tek Singh? Where? Why? It is where it has always been. Satire is there. Manto's satire is there. Where? Why? It is where it always been. Geographically, its location is the same. Where is Toba Tek Singh? Toba Tek Singh is, Toba Tek Singh is in the same place called Toba Tek Singh. The place doesn't have legs to go somewhere. That's why he answers that. So actually, geographically, Toba Tek Singh is where it was, where it always has been. Then Bishan Singh clarifies, in India or in Pakistan. Now Fazaldeen is dumbfounded because he doesn't know. He knows he lives in Toba Tek Singh. He knows Bishan Singh's family has gone to India. He knows, that means Bishan Singh's family has left the place Toba Tek Singh, but he doesn't know where Toba Tek Singh, the actual village he lives in, belongs to. Does it belong to India or in Pakistan? He is not too sure about that. He is there. He is living there as he was before. So he stammers. In India, no, in Pakistan. Bishan Singh gets the cue that this man, whoever he is, because Bishan Singh cannot recognize, is not sure about Toba Tek Singh. He is confused. Bishan Singh gets the cue. He doesn't say anything. He goes back. And says, Upar di gurgur di annex di be dhyana di mong di dal di Pakistan and Hindustan dur fite mun, etc., etc. He actually wants to, this statement says that Pakistan and Hindustan, these two words have troubled him too much. And he is not happy with these two words. These are confusing him in a way. But all his expression is actually, it is not very much meaningful. Now at the end, the day comes, winter evening, buses full of Hindu and Sikh lunatics. They are being accompanied by armed police and officials. Police and officials were instructed that you have to get these people are selected to be transferred to India, and there will be another bus from the other side, they will come to Pakistan. So you will have to make the bus empty, send these people over the, to make them cross the border and let them go to India, where their officials will take care of them, and you will receive the Muslim lunatics coming from India, and you will take them in the bus. Now what happens is that these lunatics, they are lunatics and they are expected to behave, not like us. We behaved in a very, fashionable way. We stained all the country in blood, and we migrated in lines, making lines. We did not deny the partition. We did not dare to deny the partition. We had to accept, we accepted. But these people, they are lunatics. They had never seen a bus, they had never made a journey like this before. They have come and they started running around, tearing up their own clothes, being naked, shouting. The officials were not being able to manage them efficiently. Now, there were slogans, Pakistan Zindabad, Pakistan Murdabad, etc. There were complete confusion. As Manto writes, in short, complete confusion prevailed. Okay. Now, when Toba Tek Singh, actually Bishan Singh, was being moved, Toba Tek Singh asked. Toba Tek Singh asked before also, he had asked before that, where is Toba Tek Singh? And the Pakistani officials answered that it is in India, and even if it is not, it will go to India soon. Don't you worry. That was their, cunning response. They chuckled and they responded in that way to convince him that you just go. Now, Toba Tek Singh goes, crosses the border, goes to the other side, and there are the Indian officials. He asks them, where is Toba Tek Singh? These officials, they also make fun of him by saying that Pakistan just laughs cunningly, just makes fun of him, that it is in Pakistan, you have lost your land, hey, that kind of feeling. Bishan Singh tried to run but was overpowered by the Pakistani guards, who tried to push him across the dividing line towards India. Now Bishan Singh is trying to run back because the Indian official has said that Toba Tek Singh belongs to Pakistan. Bishan Singh tries to run back, but Pakistani officials are guarding the place. No, you can't come back. Indian official has already made fun of him and said in a very confident voice, Pakistan. So Indian officials do not have the responsibility to take the man. You see, here is a pathetic situation of administrative events. You see, Pakistan officials had the job to empty their land of these people. They had to transfer these men. That means they had to get these men out of their borders, hand them over to Indian officials. They have made it. They have pushed Bishan Singh away. Now Bishan Singh is India's responsibility according to Pakistan officials, because they have, shaken off their responsibility. And the Indian official, they have not got Bishan Singh because Bishan Singh is in the middle. You see, there is one wire, there is another wire. This is Pakistan and this is India. In the middle, a very, a place, this is called no man's land. Okay. Here, Bishan Singh is going back, but he is turned away. He is pushed away by Pakistani guards because he is not their responsibility anymore. They have shaken off the responsibility. Indians, they do not have any responsibility to take. If a man comes, then it is their responsibility. Inside the border, then it is their responsibility. Think of it. Humanity has lost. There is no sense of humanity. There is only, if it is my responsibility. We all know what happens in government offices and everything. Everybody tries to shake off their responsibility. This is not my job. Go to that table. This is not this. This is not the job of this office. Go to that office, etc., etc. They just try to recirculate you in different directions every time, saying that it's not their responsibility. Nobody cares about what you are struggling with. Same thing happens with Bishan Singh. Pakistanis are not taking him. Indians are not bothered about him because he is not coming towards them. So he is in no man's land. And here the most pathetic ending comes. Many efforts were made to explain to him that Toba Tek Singh had already been moved to India or would be moved immediately. This is Pakistani official statements. Okay, they tried that Toba Tek Singh will move to India. You just go on, but he was not convinced. The guards even tried force, but soon gave up because he was so, he was determined that I am not going to India. Indian official has said that Toba Tek Singh, my land is in Pakistan. My home is in Pakistan. So they gave up. The guards gave up. Okay, I am pushing you. You are not going. I am giving up on you. You are not my responsibility. The guards they don't care anymore. There he stood in no man's land on his swollen legs because he never, he never lied. He never lay on ground. He never lay on ground. That was his problem, as I mentioned earlier. He used to stand upright 24 hours a day. He never used to sit or lie down. Okay, so his legs were swollen. His swollen legs like a colossus. He stood there like a colossus. He was not moving. He was not going back to India. He was not. Pakistanis, they did not take him back, so he was not able to come back to Pakistan. So since he was a harmless old man, no further attempt was made to push him into India, because that is not their responsibility. Harmless man stands there, let him stand. Who cares? Okay? The ironic tone is there. Since he was a harmless old man. Actually, the tone is ironic here. He was allowed to stand where he wanted, while the exchange continued. The night wore on. So the other lunatics were exchanged. He stood there. Nobody cared about him. The occasion completed. Night came. Just before the sunrise, Bishan Singh, the man who had stood on his legs for 15 years, screamed, and as officials from the two sides rushed towards him, he collapsed to the ground. There, behind barbed wire on one side lay India, and behind more barbed wire on the other side lay Pakistan. In between, on a bit of earth which had no name, lay Toba Tek Singh. You see? On one side there was India, the so-called nation. And And on the other side, there was Pakistan, another so-called nation. But there was no home for this man. Because home is where you feel safe, where you feel at peace, where you feel that nobody is not indifferent to you. You feel that you are being cared for. And here, Pakistanis are saying that go to India. Indians are saying, you are not my responsibility. Nobody cares. He stands there. And that man there, after standing for 15 years, he lies down because he has found his home. Manto is not saying that he is dead. Manto is not saying that he is sleeping. But he just falls down on ground suddenly. And he is there at peace. Either he is dead or he is unconscious. He is there at peace. He is nobody's responsibility now because he is in no man's land. He is at home. There lay Toba Tek Singh. Actually, the title of this story is because that title is not Bishan Singh but Toba Tek Singh, because actually what happens is everyone mistakes him and knowingly they call him Toba Tek Singh. They have forgotten his original name. Why? Toba Tek Singh. This seems to be, if someone doesn't know, this seems to be a name because it has Singh at the end. So we mistake it as a name, but actually Toba Tek Singh is a place, if you Google, is a place, it is in Pakistan. It is the name of a place. But this person is called Toba Tek Singh because he always talks about Toba Tek Singh. Now Manto did this trick because he had to write at the end, there lay Toba Tek Singh. There was Toba Tek Singh on the no man's land. Toba Tek Singh is the name of this man as well as because everybody calls him so. As well as Toba Tek Singh is his idea of home. Right? His home was there. He was there. Bishan Singh was there. But Manto is not saying Bishan Singh was there. Toba Tek Singh was there. That means he felt Toba Tek Singh is my home. It was my home. And Toba Tek Singh, he found his home there. He found his peace there. Because as long as he had to be in Pakistan or in India, he had to listen to these debates, these talks about segregation, what is India, what is Pakistan, all these gibberish. Now comes gibberish. Why Bishan Singh always talks in gibberish? Bishan Singh's talks we cannot understand because we say he is talking in gibberish. But what do we understand? The concept of dividing a nation, religious faith, segregation of people, migration, riot. We understand all these things. These are very meaningful things to us. We don't understand his gibberish, right? But all these things are gibberish to him. There is the irony. To us, whatever he speaks is gibberish. To him, whatever we speak, we do is gibberish, is meaningless, is nonsense. And that's why he finds it home at no man's land, just as another lunatic had found his home or decided to live in that tree. Okay, so this is the story. I think I have taken too much time to explain it, but I don't expect anyone to be watching at this point, but I just make videos because I just make. I don't know why. I have time, perhaps. I don't know what to do with it. I like to talk about some texts. I know nobody is there, but if anybody is there for 2 hours, you may like, share and subscribe if you please. Thank you.